He snapped his fingers in my face and said, "Are you deaf?" I asked for the manager. He had no idea he was talking to the man who owned the building he was sitting in. By the end of that night, he'd be escorted out by security and I'd be the one who gave the order. But to understand how good that moment felt, you need to know how it started. My name doesn't matter. What matters is that I own a small chain of restaurants, 4 of them built from nothing over 12 years. And every few weeks, I do something my staff finds strange. I put on a plain apron and I work the floor myself. No suit, no title, just a guy clearing plates. Because you learn the truth about a place from the floor, not from an office. That Friday we were short 2 servers, so I wasn't just observing, I was actually working. Refilling water, wiping tables, invisible the way busboys always are. And that's exactly why he thought he could treat me like dirt. He arrived at 8, already loud. Expensive suit, the type that tries too hard. A woman was with him and it looked like a first date. He clearly wanted to impress her, and his way of seeming important was acting like the staff didn't matter. He pointed at a table by the window and complained about where we tried to seat him. The host smiled and let it go. I grabbed the menus. It only got worse. He said the water wasn't cold enough and sent it back, twice. The bread had just come out of the oven, but he claimed it was old. When I brought his plate, he made a rude remark about me, loud enough for the nearby tables to hear, and pointed me out to his date. She looked down, clearly uncomfortable. The whole section went quiet. My servers, most of them students working through college, waited to see what I would do. Here's the thing he didn't know. Every word he said, I was filing away. Not out of anger, out of patience. Because I've learned something in 12 years of business. People who humiliate the powerless always assume there will be no consequences. I was about to become the consequence. Then he crossed the last line. He wanted a bottle of wine, our most expensive, but he wanted it for free because the service was an insult. I told him, politely, that I couldn't do that, but I'd be glad to find someone who could help. He stood up, threw his napkin on the floor, and he said the words that ended his entire night, "Then go get me whoever actually runs this dump, someone with a brain. Can you manage that, or is it too complicated?" I set down my towel. I looked him in the eye, and I said, "That would be me. I own this restaurant, and the other 3. He laughed. Of course he laughed. You're a busboy. Don't embarrass yourself. So I called over Maria, my floor manager, 20 years in this business. I asked her one question, "Maria, who am I?" She didn't even blink. "That's the owner, sir. All 4 locations." The color drained out of his face in real time. The woman across from him slowly put down her glass and looked at him like she was seeing him clearly for the first time. And this is the part I think about the most. He'd spent an entire hour building himself up by tearing down someone he thought couldn't fight back. He never once considered that the help might be the one person in the room with all the power. That's the trap of cruelty. It always assumes the floor can't look up. He tried to recover. Suddenly he was smiling, calling me sir, saying it was all a misunderstanding, a joke, that of course he respected hard work. I let him talk. Then I said the only thing left to say. "Your meal is on the house tonight. Don't worry about it." He relaxed for exactly 1 second. "But you're not welcome here again. Not at this location, and not at any of the other 3. My staff are not yours to insult. Security will see you out." 2 of my guys were already standing by the door. He looked around for someone to back him up. Nobody did. Not one diner. A few of them actually started clapping. But the night wasn't done giving. The woman he came with stayed. She apologized, not for herself, for him, which tells you everything. I sat her down, comped her dinner for real, and called her a car home. As she left, she said something I'll never forget. I almost didn't see who he really was. "Thank you for showing me before it was too late." He lost a lot that night. The dinner, the date, his dignity. And 3 weeks later, he lost one more thing when his company applied for a catering partnership and found out who'd be signing off on the deal. Spoiler, I didn't sign. People always ask if karma is real. I don't know about the universe, but I know this: how you treat people who can do nothing for you is exactly who you are. He thought power meant making others feel small. He learned in front of everyone that real power never has to raise its voice. If you believe he got exactly what he deserved, hit subscribe, because at Karma Files, the bill always comes due. And stick around, because the next story, the payback is even bigger.